It's been 8 months since I posted a Granblue Fantasy Versus tier list to this channel, and it's not because I'm lazy. Despite multiple patches, not that much has changed. However, with patch 1.50, we have the biggest meta shakeup yet. That's right, we'll finally be able to see other characters than Nier be available for the free-to-play warriors out there. So let's start this tier list off with the characters that got the biggest changes. And I guess you can't get any bigger than a character that was literally added to this patch, Versusia. And I actually, I'm a big fan of Versusia. I am playing her. I'm literally in winter semis of a tournament right now with her. And yeah, I think she's really cool. She's really fun. But if I had to place her tier-wise, she's probably mid-tier. Her weaknesses are probably just the worst defense in the game. Her 5L is tied for the slowest in the game. And when you're trying to mash out of pressure, that's really hard. And if you ever try to take your turn on block, I mean, you're just kind of minus. And it's really hard to contest, like, let's say, these like spaced moves right here, right? So for example, what a lot of characters would do is they would like dash L on reaction, but like your dash is so slow that it's really hard to dash L on reaction to a lot of these things. And so like when you're trying to dash L like outside of the immediate space, it's really hard for her to like enforce your turn in those kind of spaces. That being said, everything else about her is actually really good, and she has some of the most cracked moves in the game. Heavy in skill, this move is 18 frames, it's unreactable, so anytime they're just like wiggling back and forth, throw that out. And if you ever throw this out and get a hit, you get a free meaty and like half screen coverage, so that's actually really nice. And this move right here is absolutely insane. Basically, wherever in their corner, if they're not blocking and they just have to randomly get hit, yeah, they explode from this. And then you go into super and then they die, right? The other thing, I think she has the best super in the game. This SBA, for some reason, it goes super far, has really good invul, and it doesn't even matter the range. Like I could be out here, you still get animation, and animation is really important because one, attacks on more damage, but two, you take away a diamond, and taking away diamonds is super important in this game. Actually, how far does this work? Almost full screen. She also has a buff system where if she presses 5U, she gets this little charge up. It empowers certain moves. So for example, I can do this and then get a combo if I'm actually good at it. And so it makes a lot of her moves really strong. But the issue she runs into is that sometimes characters are just really fast and they can just stop her from getting a buff. Zoners do have it rough in this game, and the Versusia is no exception, but at least she can convert a lot of that zoning into pressure and really good damage, and she has higher health than average. So we'll put her solid mid tier. Now, I said I was going to start with the characters that got the most changes, and Lucilius is probably the most used, the most buff character of this patch. All right, and so in order to demonstrate, I asked chat a question. Will this kill Nier with 2/3 health and full diamonds, by the way? So it turns out because you're in Blade level 5, you get vastly increased damage, and you get that additional juggle, and yeah, you're dead. You didn't even need SSBA. This character is insane. Not only does he do way more damage when he's in level 5, the issue Lucilius had last patch is really hard to get him to level 5. So for example, you would almost never get into level 5 unless there's a really long round. Well, now pretty much everything builds sword gauge. This builds way faster. This builds. That builds way too much. As you can see, like, yeah, now I'm almost at level 5. Just get an extra combo. And all these build on block, and now I'm level 5. And so you can build it so much faster than he used to, which means that you get access to one of the best characters in the game way earlier than he used to. And the reason why level 5 is so good outside of the damage is now his moves barely have any cooldown. And so you can like literally do one of the best fireballs in the game every 2 seconds. So yeah, Lucilius, insanely good. He also has teleport to get around, zoning. His main weakness is he just doesn't have a DP, and not having a reversal option in this game is kind of rough. He also doesn't have any air mobility, similar to Versusia, but his strength's more than make up for it. Also, really good jab. This jab might be the best jab in the game. All right, so let's talk about Belial. Belial actually did not get that many changes, which is weird because this character literally won Evo. So you'd expect a character like that to get nerfed, but he actually got one of the most significant buffs. So Belial was one of these characters that you're always spending your meter on super. And you had ult skills, but they weren't that good. Now he has one of the best ult fireballs in the game, which is this It goes full screen, and you just run up, you get punished. You can use it to side swap. I don't know the combos, but you get the idea. I can do this stuff and then get a full combo. People think Belial's just really good because he has all the tools, right? He has a really strong fireball. He has a DP, and he has things to mental stack you with command grab. His ult command grab's actually now quite fast, and that's pretty hard to deal with too. And he just does really good damage, really good corner carry, and makes you explode. He also has this plus on block, crouch low. Only character in the game that has this. You can literally just bully people doing stuff like this. So yeah, Belial, no question, S tier. All right, and now it comes to Nier. So Nier is probably the most changed character because they completely reworked how she functions. And if I had to say any character I'm really uncertain of how they work this patch, it's actually Nier. And I think the Niers are going to take a while to cook up. Right now, people are dooming about the character. Some people are really optimistic. I'm kind of like in the middle. So she lost a lot. She lost her invincible reversal and her combos. So for example, this is one of the best moves in the game. All of these cancels now cost way more hearts, which means you run out of hearts really quick. But the advantage is that you can recover your hearts earlier, and once this bar kind of goes back to full, you have 13 hearts. That's one of the main changes. She also lost invincibility on this, and she lost her 50-50 loop, which made her really, really strong and unquestionably the best character in the game. She still has pretty good normal. She still has this move that converts into a crap ton of damage. She still has some of the best ult skills in the game. This move here, this move was just super disjointed. So yeah, how's she gonna pan out? I'm not sure. I still have PTSD from this character, so I'm gonna put her A+. All right, a couple more characters that got pretty significant changes. 2B, this is the character I took to Evo, got top 24 with her, and wait, top 16. I gotta show myself properly. Top 16, and yeah, I think she's still really good. She lost a couple things, namely this normal, which is her god normal, has a little less range. Her double jump and her float now use skill, which is kind of cringe. And the most significant nerf, in my opinion, you used to be able to punish the 6XL. Now with the counter, you cannot punish it, which means the counter is now way worse. But she did get a couple things to compensate. One is, you know, you now get a full combo off this move, which is really, really good. Helps her mix. She also like gains skill back while doing this move. So her 2-2H is way better than it used to be. And that's actually, in my opinion, one of the moves you want to constantly go for. The other big change she got is that while she runs, this is her running 5M, right? And then her 5U 5M goes really, really far, really quick. She actually plays neutral a little bit different now, where you want to do these like sliding lows and sliding mids. So overall, I actually think she's pretty similar. I think she's about the same. Where I had her last patch, and most Japanese players had her last patch, top 10, top 15. I think she's pretty similar. So I'm going to put 2B. I think 2B is somewhere in between S and A+. Now, Ladiva, this character, she got a lot of good things. Ladiva's SPD now goes really, really far, and you see how you're in the corner, right? That's really strong. You even get a safe jump after. Her lariat, it's faster. You can't react to it by crouching. This is legitimately, if they're just walking back and forth, you have a really good bucket skip neutral option. That being said, the character still has the main problem where she has very poor defense. Her command grabs, while they do damage, still do less than a combo, right? And in a game where guard cancel is really strong, having some of the worst neutral in the game is not a very good look. So while she does have better ways to get in, her main way is kind of rely on, you know, this lariat, which is kind of gimmicky, can be dodged on reaction. This move, which is unsafe if they're just crouching for whatever reason, or they happen to get hit out. So I think because her neutral suffers, I still think she's a bit on the weaker end. I'm gonna put Ladiva either A or B. I'll put her on the top of B for now, just so it looks a little bit more even. All right, now let's just start talking about the broken characters. Beatrix, insanely strong. When she came out, arguably top 3, she got a big nerf. Specifically this move, which used to be plus on block, is now minus on block, right? And she does the less damage. That being said, she still does insane amount of damage. She still has a DP. She still has really good ways to get in. She still has a command grab. She still has this buff that in like anytime you hit them, you do a crap ton of damage. She still does quite good damage, probably above average on the cast. And this patch, basically she didn't change. So in a game where some of her worst matchups like 6 and Nier got nerfed, I think she's looking very, very strong this patch. Definitely S tier, just because of the ways, like how well-rounded she is. You know, she has a fireball, she has ways to get in, she has the DP, and she does great damage. She has great mech, she has great rushdown. She just literally does everything very well. No real weakness to speak of. Speaking of a character with no real weakness to speak of, Percival is looking great this patch. So Percival, as you guys know, Tororo got second at Evo. So this is a clip from the Percival scientist Vira, and Percival got like a pretty big glow up in 1.3. He got a lot of new combos that he didn't have before, and 1.5 it kind of just expanded that, so his combo repertoire is a lot better. One of the other changes that kind of impacted the meta from, I originally had Percival bottom 5 in the tier list, which I think was probably somewhat accurate till now, is they actually nerfed Dash L, and Percival benefited a lot from that because he wants to play a slower grounded game and uses pokes more, and now that pokes are better compared to Dash L, you can do that, right? So this is an example 2-touch sequence. There's quite a few buffs, a lot of this that he just couldn't do last patch, including charge into the ult stock, and you go to alt stock again, and then when the patch changes this patch is you can do alt stock into this alt thrust, and yeah, they just die. Yeah, this character is really good. Another thing that I actually played Tororo at Evo, this ult skill is insanely good. +9 on block, you stand in the fire, you take hella damage, and if you ever do in the corner like as a knockdown setup, you can block in time to beat a DP. Yeah, he's quite good. So I think both of these characters are unquestionably S tier, probably right behind Belial and Lucilius. So Djeeta, at face value, I initially thought this character was nerfed because Djeeta is a very strong character last patch. The reason she's strong is, you know, she has a Shoto, she's very well rounded, and she has probably one of the best fireballs, is not the best fireball, which is this charge EX fireball, can literally just go in. And she used to get crazy corner carry off of everything. You would just hit confirm into this Rekka, and this is wall bounce, and you get a full combo. Now you no longer get the full combo. So that's a pretty significant nerf to Djeeta, but she actually got a pretty big buff, which is this move right here. You get a combo on hit, and even on block, this is +2. So you can like just keep extending pressure. You think they'll mash, you get a full combo from that now. As you can see, like there's tons of different pressure sequences you can go for, right? And so it makes her corner carry, like pressure, that much scarier. The fact that you can now throw this 5U in as well. Overall, I think Djeeta's slightly nerfed because of the Rekka, but because she was so strong before, I think that still puts her in S tier. And here's another character that I think is like borderline S tier, which is Katalina. So Katalina, I originally put bottom 5 on the tier list. Similar reasons to Percival, she was playing a poke game in the game where Dash Ls exist, right? But her Dash L game is now pretty good. Right, you can combo this. Every character in this new patch got Dash L 5M. That benefits a lot of characters, although I think Cat could do that beforehand. But either way, it means these pokes are a lot more effective. Katalina got a bunch of buffs since vanilla. For example, this fireball goes way faster. These moves have been made better. They're less minus on block, so you can space them out easier. You can just kind of throw them out. A lot of characters, like even from here, can't punish, so it's a lot better just to throw out. But the main thing that propelled her up the tier list this patch is this 5U. Now this 5U used to not be very good, and now the big change is whenever this absorbs a hit, you're able to get a combo from it. And even without absorbing a hit, so for example here, yeah, you get something like this, right? Very, very good. So this 5U went from one of the worst U skills in the game to, in my opinion, a very, very strong U skill, which just kind of really rounds out her kit very well. So she can beat Dash Ls with this, she can bait guard cancels and get a full punish off of it. Her combos are better. Her ult skill, for example, you can now like do corner to corner stuff. I mean, I don't know the exact combos, but you get the idea that you can do some pretty crazy combos with her. So all the issues she had from vanilla, which were useless ult skills and no corner carry, not really good damage, and no, I don't know, no charge focus attack, they've all been corrected, which makes her, in my opinion, quite strong. I feel like Cat is like similar to 2B. They're both very, very strong. I don't know if I want to put them in A+ or S. And then Djeeta, I think, is definitely S. Two of the strongest characters in Granblue Fantasy vs Rising last patch and since launch were Siegfried and Six. One of the things that made Siegfried really strong was the fact that you could just do EX Fireball from any range and then literally run behind it. Well, you can't do that anymore. That is the big change that Siegfried got this patch. Instead, you have to use the medium version. Okay, it's still like It's obviously not as fast. It's a lot more risky, but overall, his game plan is still the same. Once you get in, you have one of the best cancels in the game, which is the stance move. You do insane amount of damage. You still have this jump scare of a move to just control neutral. You can still do very strong pressure like this. Fireball, yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff with this character. He's still pretty much the same outside of EX Fireball. I think though removing that EX Fireball probably cost him half a tier. Still has insanely good sweep that's hit confirmable into one of the best supers in the game because the super goes really far with punishes. A lot of things go through fireballs. Yeah, overall still really well rounded. It also has a DP. Now 6 got nerfed pretty heavily. The main nerf is he just has 2,000 less health, which is 15% less health. Huge nerf in this game. Also, the way the ult scaling works, you know, doing raw ult skills scales a lot more. Might impact 6 more than any other character because he still has some of the best ult skills. Between this move, which is like a good anti-air, and this move just destroyed all zoning. So they do less damage, and besides less damage, less health, but he's still 6. They actually made him faster. They made this move better. It's like you can space out to be even or 1. If they have a slow jab, you can just kind of maul them. EX Fireball, this move is still the god, even though they nerfed it last patch as well. So yeah, this character's still really good. They keep nerfing him, but he's still really fast. Still has tons of mixed potential. Still does really good damage. Still S tier. So I'll put them both pretty similar. Let's talk about some other obvious ones. I think Lancelot basically got nerfed the same way as 6. Worse ult skills, less HP. Wall Cling's a little bit worse, so you can react to the mix-up better. But he's still pretty good. He's still Lance. He still has really good movement, but his M Fireball is a little lackluster. Now Zooey, I can't even do it. I can't even bring her up on screen. She actually got some really cool stuff. So Zooey got some really cool combo routes. Her EX Lightning now bounces. She can do like these really long dust loops, get some additional damage. Usually people would end in like U-Dragon, but this works too. So she does a bit more damage, especially in the corner. That's pretty much all she got. She's pretty similar to how she was before. I will admit Zooey has, how I say, pretty good neutral. Better neutral than I gave her credit for because her dragon is just so strong and you can take a lot of different turns, a strike throw using the dragon. But she didn't really change that much this patch, so I'm gonna put her in A tier. She also has that charge 6 heavy, really strong. I guess Zooey can do this too. It's almost never gonna happen in the match, but that's cool. Thanks, Side Games. Now give me a DP. All right, so Yuel, I thought this character was gonna get Giga Juice because one of her changes in this patch was this stance M is now an overhead and it causes a ground bounce. I'm like, oh my god, unreactable overhead you get a full combo from? Yeah, it turns out it's not a full combo. You just get a little bit of damage. And so instead of getting this full combo plus unblock starter, you basically got overhead that barely does anything. Not much about. Oh, also she doesn't auto parry anything anymore in the stance. So she actually, in my opinion, got weaker. That said, I still think she's an okay character. Yuel's like kind of like a very rush down, very fast character. Has ways to alter her air momentum. Doesn't ever have to block because this is one of the best wake ups in the game. This EX flip has invul and you can do a bunch of different follow ups out of it. Really fast character. Stance is still really scary, right? Because you still have an overhead. You still have hella plus frames. This ult skill's good. You can't dodge it. She got a lot going for her, but at the same time, like she didn't really have good tournament placings before. I think she got weaker this patch, especially in a game where a lot of characters got buffed. So not that great. Anila was a character I actually picked up for a while. I mained Anila for maybe a month. And she got a lot of changes since the last tier list. In particular, her running heavy, it used to be terrible. Now you get like a full combo on hit and it just, you do crazy amount of damage. You get the idea. And on block, it's just like it completely spaces you out. So you can do this and like, yeah, you don't have to do anything. She actually took a nerf this patch. She got to change her ult skill that didn't really do much. Her ult sheet now doesn't like, not all of them go full screen. This has less pushback, so you used to be able to make it like safe. Now you can't make it safe. And like she got some buffs to compensate. Like this is a true block string, but I don't think they were that much. And I think she's a character, she was all okay. She actually had the worst win rate online. I don't know if it's just because like a bunch of Coomers play her and
Versusia.
milk me till I'm dry. Bro, this guy still at it, huh? don't actually care about getting good at the game. But for whatever reason, she has the worst win rate online by a long shot, and she didn't get any better. I'm gonna put her like A tier. I still think she's pretty good. She has pretty good neutral control. Obviously has the DP, I value that highly. I think this move's pretty cheap. It's really hard to anti her because you could do it pretty early. You could do a jump in pretty early out of the 2-2H. She's pretty well rounded. She's just lacking a little firepower. So I think Anila is like mid tier. I actually think Yuel's B tier, but probably in the high end of B tier. So let's talk about Ferry. I could sum up Ferry in one clip. So what they did, apparently she was skill gapping characters too hard. And so they made her air normals blockable. So normally last patch this would have killed here. Now it doesn't kill, and you just get skill gapped by Nier now, right? She really didn't get that many changes. She was a pretty weak character beforehand. Now she's still weak. That obviously happened. She got like some side swap stuff. She has some cool setups. This is a pretty cool combo. This example shows some of the buffs. Like she gets basically better combo opportunities. And you can even do like cool ed combos where they hit the ball and then you can juggle after. This wasn't optimal, but just to kind of show you the buffs, she gets better combo opportunities, but she still struggles with people just brute forcing their way in. Doesn't have great defense, has lower health than average. She has pretty decent rush down, but she's lacking offensive firepower in a game where people can rush you down really, really easily. Yeah, she's still being punished for being the best character in Granblue Fantasy Versus. Let's get some of the more boring characters out of the way. Vane. Unfortunately, Vane didn't get that much. He got like a little bit extra combo potential, but his shield still loses the dash L. He still doesn't have a meterless DP. He just kind of gets rushed down. I don't think this character is very good. I thought he was bottom 1 last patch. He might still be bottom 1. He didn't really get anything, surprisingly. Metera's very similar situation. Not very great. Didn't really get much. I guess she got a wall bounce on her ult skill, but nothing really that changes the way she plays. She's basically still the same character. So I'm gonna put her B tier. Yeah, I do think Grimnir and Zeta are S tier. So actually, Zeta and Grimnir are pretty similar. I actually thought Zeta was going to take a huge nerf because of the ult skill scaling, right? Zeta has some of the best ult skills in the game. For example, her jump air ult skill, which used to be the best throw tech bait in the game, now is always punishable, which is so welcome as someone that doesn't play Zeta. That being said, she still has all of her same strengths. EX Spear, still very good neutral skip. You can still mix up with it. Rhapsody's probably one of the best reversals in the game because even the meterless version has a lot of use just to throw out a neutral, a lot of different follow-ups, so it's really hard to punish, right? Still has a fireball, still a very well-rounded character, and she actually got a pretty significant buff, which after throw, you get a safe jump. Which means as a character that has some of the best fuzzies in the game, where, you know, you can do a jump in normal and then do a rising normal, and then if they're blocking crouching, they get hit. She's looking pretty good. So she's training worse ult skills for a better strike throw, better post throw situation. I think it's a pretty good change. So overall, dub for Zeta, and she is already really good. And some extra combos. Why not? Grimnir, kind of the same way. Grimnir took a couple nerfs. For example, this normal is a little bit worse. It still feels really good. His H seals have a longer cooldown, but other than that, he's still the same character, and he's now for employed people. And by that, I used to like drop all his Grimnir's combos, but they made his combos way easier because there's now a buffer after an air dash, which means when you try to do an air normal after you dash, you're almost always going to get, which means he's going to be a lot more consistent, and I think that kind of shoots him up the tiers. They also buffed his ult fireball. It's really fast now, so you can use it to like counter zone, and you get really good reward off the counter zoning. I'm just throwing this, and then I can, you know, get a full combo here. Yeah, he's pretty good. So I think he's already strong. I think the execution barrier held him back some. Now that that's been removed, you're gonna start seeing a lot more Grimnir because this character is already good, and he is also like, he has some of the best throw baits in the game, right? Like his offense is crazy. You just do this, and if you get hit by a seal, they die. I don't know. I think Grimnir and Zeta are probably like in this range. I think they're both quite strong. All right, I think this is it for S tier. Trust me, this is it for S tier. All right, so Soriz is a character I thought was already good. They took a couple nerfs, specifically, right? He has one of the best ult skills. Ult skills now scale, but he's really good just like bypassing neutral with his dash punches. He has really good pressure when he gets in. And yeah, overall really solid character. The main buff he got one of the best dash H's in the game now. Before, this dash H wasn't very good. You didn't get much reward off of it. They made it easier to armor things, and you get a better combo off of it, right? So this move, which used to not be that good, now gives you like crazy combo. I don't know the combo. And even on regular hit, you still get a pretty decent combo. Frame 9 armor. Yeah, so armor happens way earlier, which means that like you could just be like, all right, screw it, like I'm in there. So for a character that already his main weakness is sometimes it can be hard to get in, he got a really good way to get in. Also the 5U change is really nice. Basically, if you ever absorb anything, so if you ever 5U a 6XL, you now get 2 stocks instead of 1, which means that when you enter Ultra, this install super, you take a lot less damage. So yeah, overall, very buff character. I'm gonna put him right outside S tier, but I still think he's quite good. Oh yeah, and this is 5 frames. So you can just sometimes mash this. Bubs got some quality of life changes. One of the nicest changes, I think, was they made his EX dive, which is probably one of the best EX specials in the game because you just dive in. It's really hard to react to. It's plus on block. It's tied to his DP, which means that you can do strings like this. You can dive in, and then you still have this, the slash special in order to mix them, right? So it makes his pressure, it makes his combos way scarier with that change. Also, like Karma, this has like a crazy amount of pull in. So it's a lot easier to do like Karma mix-ups between this, and this. So like, let's say I think the medium Karma's coming, I try to spot dodge, I get hit, and I get full combo, right? So that actually buffed his neutral as well. So overall, I think Bubs is looking pretty good. So I'm gonna put Soriz. There's so many good characters now. I'm gonna put Bubs probably at the lower end of A+. All right, so Gran and Charlotta, these are 2 characters that are pretty similar. They got minor buffs. So for example, Gran, his 5U's now better, charges faster. I think you get like a full combo if this hits. So yeah, he's pretty good. The other main buff that he got this patch was his 214L goes into the H follow-up. So you kind of get like I actually don't even know how to do it. Okay, you just do it again. But you get the idea. So this makes for a really good safe hit confirm. And if it's in the corner, if this is in the corner, you get some extra damage. So overall, he's pretty similar. He still has the same strengths and weaknesses. He's, you know, very simple to use, good mobility, good ways to get in, good fireball, good DP, very well rounded. This is still plus. So overall, yeah, he's looking pretty solid. I think the main thing that Gran, everyone else has above him is he's kind of missing the bullshit factor. He just kind of rushes you down. He doesn't have like really good keep out, doesn't have really great neutral, doesn't have really good ult skills. He has all the tools to play the game. Charlotta is kind of similar. She has all the tools to play the game. Charlotta is kind of characterized by this like very, very insanely good jump. They made Charlotta's parry better this patch. They made her demon flip better. They made this demon flip low plus on block now. I don't know what they were thinking, but it's just kind of amplified Charlotta's strengths, right? So when she gets going a little bit harder, but she still has the same issue where, you know, she can get like kind of zoned out, laned out a bit. She often ends her turn at minus frames. So when, for example, any of these balls, when she ends it, now you're getting mixed up, right, as Charlotta. So you do have to take some risks with this character, but overall, she's still, these are both 2 really well-rounded solid characters that have all the tools to play the game. I'm gonna put them like down here. All right, so Lowain, he's pretty similar. The main difference is this no longer has invul. So you can't just like use it on wake up. It's no longer like a checkmate situation, which is pretty nice actually when you're fighting Lowain. He did get some buffs. For example, this move back ult skill now bounces them like crazy high. You get some new combo opportunities. The fact that you can throw 2 bros at once is kind of nice. So you can like, you can throw 2 bros at once. That's pretty cool. That it kind of buffs his zoning. Another buff to his zoning is this down medium skill comes out a lot faster. Well, has better frame data, so you can kind of rush behind it. So his neutral got a little bit better, but he still suffers from the same issues. Just he's kind of gimmicky. Even the best Lowains that I've played still rely on like really gimmicky setups, like doing this, jumping in, and them not realizing it's actually a low. He still has pretty weak defense. This counter, while it works if people just dodge on reaction, he loses his turn. But he can still play a pretty annoying runaway game. The issue is that he can't run away against characters like Six or other top tiers that just have really good anti-zoning or really good rushdown. Now Vaseraga, he's the character that I think is one of the most slept on characters. If you look at the results in NA, Fuselit is probably one of the premier online warriors and has been playing this character and it's kind of shown me the light as to why Vaseraga is so good. One of the reasons reasons is that even though this character doesn't have a DP, his defense is actually surprisingly good. Between his ult command grab, which has invul and it's very hard to jump on reaction, and his other ult skills that have armor are like really good priority. So you can mix up between these ult skills and it's really hard to open up, not to mention he has the most health in the cast. He still has a command grab, and he also got some pretty nice buffs. He has some way better combos than he used to have. One of the most noticeable buffs to me is this stance low now like inches him forward. So even his neutral is like a bit better now. This ult fireball is also insane too. If you block this, it's a free armor up. And then he can armor in. I'd say the one downside is that some characters that can stop his armor pretty well, you know, characters with multi-hitting moves, can give Vaseraga a hard time. But overall, I still think he's one of the most underrated characters in the game. So I'm gonna put Vaseraga right in front of Charlotta and Gran, and we'll put Lowain. I think Lowain's down here in the B tier. And this game is honestly pretty balanced. I'm thinking about combining A and B because it's really not, especially compared to previous patches, the tiers have got condensed a lot because they homogenized dash Ls so everyone can get a medium combo off their dash L. And you know, side games and Arxis have done a really good job at like buffing up the bad characters and nerfing the strong characters. There's no character that's like SS tier like Nier was when the game first launched. So Narmaya is a character that's characterized by her stance, where she has two stances which change her cooldowns and her normals, which means she has more specials than anyone else in the game, which gives her a lot of different options for kind of approaching and mixing up the opponent and continuing pressure. Narmaya lost a couple of things. She has this buff to her ult transient, I think it is, which, okay, now it doesn't hit, but it used to be really good for dodging stuff, get out of the corner. Now if you spot dodge it, they just die. So a lot of people are calling that a nerf, and a lot of people are calling this a nerf as well. This used to be her H Setsuna? I don't know any of her moves. The H Fireball used to be plus, now it's minus, so you can no longer continue your turn. But she does have some pretty nice things. So for example, this is plus 19 on hit. Oh yeah, so on counter hit, you can like get a full combo. That's kind of cool, which buffs her zoning and her neutral a bit more. So overall, I think she's pretty similar. She still retains her strengths of, you know, really good rush down. She still has this old skill, which is cracked, goes through things, can bait guard cancel, baits anti-airs, baits a lot of different things. So I think overall she's pretty good. Now this is a character that got buffed a little bit. Her zoning's like a little bit faster. This 5U charges up faster, but she lost a couple of her really strong ult skills, particularly this jump ult skill that used to bait anti-airs. Now the trap goes too far to bait a lot of anti-airs. And my favorite change, this used to just go through 2 H's, and now you can actually anti-air it. It's so nice. That used to be one of the most annoying moves. So because of that, she feels easier to fight to me, that you don't have to deal with these really, really strong ult skills from Cagliostro, but she still retains her core gameplay of, you know, throwing out traps and doing really good strike throw when there's a trap on you. I don't know the combo, but you get the idea. She gets a full combo from that. So overall, I still think she's pretty decent. Overall, I think both these characters are like middle of the pack. All depends on like who downplays who harder. All right, so Anre and Eustace, these are the two characters that it doesn't matter what they change about them, they'll still be considered lower tier because no one plays them. I think both Anre and Eustace are very similar characters. They both have very good toolkit. It's very well-rounded. You know, they have good rush down. They have, you know, Anre has like quite good defense with this EX counter. They keep getting buffed every patch. But it doesn't matter because no one plays Anre. You know, he has good normals. It's still the same issue, which is like, we really don't know how good this character is because he's easily the most unpopular character in the game. Eustace is similar. Well, not many people know what he does. Yeah, he got some buffs this patch. So for example, like their grenade combos now, which is really cool. So you can like, if you're cracked, you react and you get a combo. You can also charge up his, you can delay this charge, which makes it so like his zoning's better because you can't just autopilot spot dodge him. But same issue. Both these characters, they're zoners in the game where tons of people have bucket neutral skips. But overall, I think they're pretty good. I actually think pretty highly of both of them. It's just, there's no high level players of both these characters. They're on the harder end of characters, and we really just don't know how strong they are. So I'm gonna put them around Versusia. I really don't know. These characters kind of got buffs that magnify their strength. So starting with Vira, you know, she's faster now in install. That's probably the most notable buff. So whenever you go into install, That's this little state when she gets a command grabber, does super. This air dash is now faster. This hop now is faster. Right, she got some new combos, like for example this tracks now, and I think you can now combo into install like this, which is pretty neat, and your install's better. She did lose a couple things. For example, this DP is now punishable on block, which is pretty good because this DP was like actually broken. But overall, she's pretty similar. She has very good rush down. This her back medium skill is +2 on block, which means you can just kind of like do things. If you think they're gonna mash, you go into stabbies. If you don't think you're gonna mash, you go into back medium skill. That's pretty much how you play the character. She's still the same. She rushes you down, she makes you guess, but she doesn't have great anti-zone, especially now that they nerfed her this alt skill. It's -6, which means you get a punish. I think she's pretty similar. She's in those like lacking a little bit of firepower bullshit, but still good characters. Avatar Belial, I used to think this character bottom 1, bottom 2 last patch. So Avatar Belial, the main issue is he has the lowest health in the game and his specials take your health. That being said, he has the ability to kind of steamroll. So once he gets a hit, especially this patch, he can like take you corner to corner and then make you guess for game, which is really, really nice. However, this game, especially a game like this that's really volatile, there's not like really strong mix-up. If you don't make that opportunity count, it's just not going to work out for Avatar Belial. And I still think that's the case. He's just a little bit too risky, too unstable of a character, but his strengths are magnified this patch, and it makes me think there's some potential. This is a random clip on Twitter of an Avatar Belial comment. As you can see, corner to corner, that is a buff where you see how far the EX rocks go. Yeah, this character just dumps out freaking damage like crazy. The 5U now wall bounces too. Yeah, look how much damage this character does. It's absolutely insane. I think if someone really maxed out, he's kind of like almost like an Anre or Eustace, where they have potential. The potential is there. It's just Avatar Belial is a lot more volatile, and this character you really just can't mess up or you just die, because if you look at this combo, look how much this did, like more than a third of Avatar Belial's health to himself. So you really cannot mess up with this character. So in terms of like a tournament character, I can see he's not really worth it. Also, like characters with really good anti-zoning can just gotta get past their BS. So I'm gonna put Vira near like Charlotta and Gran. They feel pretty similar. And Avatar Belial, I'm gonna put, I think he's decent this patch, so I'm gonna put him B tier here. All right, I do feel like everyone A tier is better than the characters in B tier, so I'll leave it like this. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'll move, I'll make the tiers even. I'll put Charlotta and Gran down here. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. The tiers are really condensed, especially in the A+ to A. I feel like I could see all of them being really close to each other. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list. Overall, I think this game is quite balanced. I think this game's in the best state it's been since, and I really am curious to see how the meta is going to shake up. I'm doing this about a week after the balance patch and the notes came out, so there's still probably a lot to be developed, and there might be like some sleeper picks. I could see like characters like Lancelot 6 moving down as the meta develops, but I could also see characters like Soriz, Katalina, maybe Nier, who knows? She might go up or down. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. So actually, I think Ladiva is better than Ferry. All right, so let's compare my list with Shosan. This is probably the top Zeta in Japan. As you can see, it's pretty similar. I think they have a couple characters in S to A mixed up. I think Ladiva, I don't know what this means by Ladiva, but Ladiva is the one that stands out as higher. But overall, this is actually pretty similar. It looks like Shosan thinks Vaseraga is worse than I do, probably because they don't have a fuselet over in Japan. And yeah, everything else is pretty similar, I think. Yeah, this is surprisingly similar besides Ladiva and Vaseraga. And I also have the list from the Evo champ himself, Aaron the Mac. This is a rough draft. Don't tell anyone I'm leaking this. As you can see, it looks very similar as well. The main differences I see, I have Soriz a lot higher. I really value the Soriz buffs pretty significantly, and that's pretty much it. It's so similar. Our lists are very similar. So even though it's a week out, because we've spent so much time playing this game, I think it is really interesting to see how close our tier lists are. Oh, I have Uno higher than them too. I believe in the potential. That's the thing. You could put Uno wherever you want on a tier list, and it doesn't matter. It's gonna be right because no one plays the character. Yeah, I think more highly of Uno and Soriz than the Evo champ. All right, anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think about the tier list. Like, share, subscribe. Take care, all, and peace.